just don't want to be a bald guy.
Welcome to round 8 of Eat the Buckle, the horror movie battle royale podcast that puts two movies in a weekly head-to-head matchup where the loser will remain in the ring another week, and we will be forced to watch it repeatedly until we have one movie standing in an effort to determine the worst horror movie ever made. This week's matchup, once again, 1988's Cheerleader Camp versus 1993 Body Bags. I'm Jared, and with me as always are my two camp queens, Aaron and Josh. Gentlemen, we've got a straight-to-video slam.
Oh boy, it's going to be a wild one this week.
This is going to be a slog.
Hold on, wait. I want to clarify something right off the bat because I didn't do any research, and I'm a terrible podcast co-host. Was Body Bags made for TV?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Then I have a couple more things to talk about.
It was Showtime's pilot, basically, for their answer to Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, okay. So it was a Showtime made for TV.
Yes.
It wasn't like the ABC movie of the week.
No, it wasn't a Ty West movie.
I think Josh might be showing his hand a little bit here. Tipping his cards a bit.
He's a big Cheerleader Camp backer.
He truly is.
He's alumni for Cheerleader Camp.
We'll get into it.
Yeah, that was one of the points I was going to bring up for Body Bags was how the origin story of it. But yeah, we'll get there. How have you guys been? It's been a couple weeks since our last record to pull back the curtain a little bit. How's everything going? How's your October? It's spooky season.
Welcome to Spooktober.
Speaking of spooky season, we went to Erica and I, obviously, as you know, we're big Halloween heads and decorate our house pretty elaborately for Halloween. Every year we make it a point to go to Spirit Halloween and we're like, every year we get like a couple things to add to the house decorations. And it's something I usually look forward to make, I could spend hours in there at Spirit Halloween. But this year, it was pretty abysmal when we went in there. Usually they, the thing with Spirit Halloween is they always take over like department stores that have shuttered their doors or whatever, which in the years past has been like a Sears. So you walk in, it's like expansive, just this huge place.
Yeah.
You could spend so much time in there. This it was like maybe 800 square feet.
Oh Lord.
It was just depressing, but like they had do you know the Art the Clown from the Terrifier series?
Yeah.
They
had like a full like life-size Art the Clown demo where you like step on the mat and it moves around. This thing was on automatic, so it was just the whole time. And what it does is it has like a bike horn that just goes like, and it like follows you. Like if you walk by it, it like moves side to side. So the whole time we were in there, we just heard like clown laugh, and it was just like so claustrophobic in there, and it was miserable, and it made me think, what happens to the world, to the United States, if Spirit Halloween goes out of business? They're the places that come into places that go out of business. How do they operate? How do they do this?
So I do know a little bit of the reason behind that. So Spirit Halloween, I believe that's the one that's owned by Spencer's Gifts.
It looked like it was in a Spencer's this time, because Spencer's is always,
that's kind of funny.
it's always, Spencer's is always the store in the mall that's just like you couldn't even like hold your arms out.
Yeah, you're climbing
to your side and not
over
touch
each other.
walls. Yeah.
So Spencer's owns Spirit Halloween, so it's not like a company onto its own that only exists 4 months out of the year. It's just a branch of that retail company that they just open up and then make twice as much money. Whereas Spencer's is basically surviving off of fart machines and dildos. and shitty t-shirts with redneck slogans on them. But yeah,
And
that's pretty much what's keeping Spencer's afloat. So the fact that you say that the Spirit Halloween is in a closed down Spencer's is pretty funny.
it sure seemed like it.
I don't
There
think
were,
I've even been into a Spirit Halloween first of all ever, but I don't think I've been in a Spencer's Gift for like 20 years.
oh man, I went and went a couple years ago. It was exactly the same. It was just like black light posters of mushrooms and uh lava lamps.
A gray alien
Yeah.
Rastafarian flipping you off while smoking a joint.
Uh-huh.
They are literally still in business because of their dildo wall. That's the only thing that's keeping that company going.
I don't remember a dildo wall last
Oh
time I was
yeah,
there.
there was always a little dildo
Really?
section. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
become a wall.
good for them.
I mean, when you can walk into Walgreens and CVS and buy a dildo, I mean, why do you got to go to Spencer's anymore?
So they're being kept afloat by Spirit Halloween, essentially.
That's probably a big part of their profit, I'm sure, because you're paying $80 for a $10 costume.
It was so packed in there too. And just
So, did you
the
buy anything to decorate?
Oh yeah, we did. I could show you, but it's over across the room. We bought a few things, yeah.
I think it's
Mission
kind of cool.
accomplished, but it was fucking. I can't imagine how anyone could work in there more than an hour without blowing their, not like any like not job shaming, just like saying with what was going on in there with that
The
Art the
noise,
Clown
yeah.
and like just the claustrophobia and like the smell of the unwashed masses just crowding for elbow room was. I couldn't. I was about to have a panic attack.
Is that what the plot of the Spirit Halloween horror movie is? Is that somebody cracks?
Uh,
Because it's probably better than what the actual movie is. I mean,
I've watched
I've
that
seen
movie.
it. Yeah, I've
It's
seen it.
it's not a terrible movie.
I just remember Christopher Lloyd's weird, disembodied head, like you have to find the spirit of it.
we need your help to find the spirit.
We can't get out of here until you kill them. It was. I don't remember it being good or bad or anything about it other than just how weird Christopher Lloyd was in it.
Yeah, you could do worse for a kid-friendly Halloween romp.
Yeah, it was kind of goosebumpy, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, that was my experience to the beginning of spooky season, and I'm ready for it.
I don't have much of an experience so far in October as I've been traveling and working. So this is the first weekend I'm going to try to really enjoy the season. Starting by putting up some outside decorations after we record. But that's one of the things I wanted to mention is I ordered some decorations off of Temu to be price conscious.
Oh,
Yeah.
so get ready for them to not work
Well,
or
Catch your house or yard on fire.
Well, so I ordered 2 strands of 100 feet of purple and orange lights. And they arrived and they do work. I plugged them in, but they had no packaging. They were literally just like came in like a cardboard box. And so I opened it up and took it out, and it just looked like the ball of Christmas lights from Christmas Vacation was how they came packaged.
Sure.
And I spent about an hour last week on Sunday trying to unwind one of them, and I just got frustrated and gave up. So I thought to myself this afternoon, I'm gonna watch CC play video games or throw on a movie. And I'm just gonna sit there like I'm knitting, only in reverse, and just unwind this giant ball of lights so I can decorate the outdoors.
Oh yeah, that's
that's
funny.
Rough, but hey, it was $10 for 100 feet of lights, so
I mean, that is a good deal.
10 Temu bucks, so that goes a long way.
The other thing I wanted to mention real quick is I noticed over the years, especially when I was working at my old job, that we had a seasonal Halloween section. It's crazy how like big the Halloween season has become now that we're getting older. I mean, we decorated a little bit growing up, with my mom and everything, but it seems like everyone is just so into it now. And to start thinking like, why is the change? And I think it can only really relate it to now that our generation's getting older and having kids. Like we grew up with
Yeah.
sleepovers and VHS horror movie rentals on the weekend. And so there's just like a huge shift towards Halloween being a major holiday. Whereas before it was really just like one day or the week of where you get your costume and go trick or treating. Now it is just like, hey, as soon as it's October 1st, it's spooky season. It's starting to feel more like a Christmas holiday, you know? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's finally getting the attention it deserves.
I love it.
Yeah.
I
sure.
didn't even realize until it happened that October 1 was this past week, where I was just I looked at my phone and I guess I was just in a haze because I looked at like 8 in the morning and went, oh, it's October 1. Wow, okay. What happened to the end of September? I don't know. And so we had already started decorating when we did our Madman watch along with like Josh was talking about.
Oh yeah,
how
the Halloween tree.
The heretical black Christmas tree, which they stole it from the pagans anyway, so to hell with it. Our black Christmas tree with ornaments. And then Josh, have you seen our giant 6-foot cat that we have now?
Oh
No.
whoa.
Okay, so that's what we purchased. It's either 5.5 feet or 6 feet high, and
Oh wait, yes, I'm sorry. I did see that. Yeah.
okay, so it's got these LEDs that on like an infinity mirror for eyes. So
Oh, wow.
it's kind of cool because like it just does like forever tunnel, and the lights you can obviously change because it's the 21st century. But you know, we set it outside this week because I was like, we're not putting it out before October. And so we put it out this week, and our neighbor's fence was just illuminated by the cat's eyes because my wife had put it on like the rainbow effect. And we were sitting out on our deck, and the cat was underneath of us on the lower patio and facing the street. And you could just see like a Ferris wheel of lights throwing towards our house. So I was like, you probably need to tilt that a little bit away from their fence because that's like right into their living room. They might get a little upset with that.
Yeah, because they already love you so much.
Yeah. We have adjusted all of our ways of living in this house around them just so maybe one day before we move, they'll say hello to us. Nonverbal communication with neighbors that are 20 feet from you is great.
That's the new way. There's plenty of neighbors I haven't spoken to,
which
in years.
I grew up in the country, so I was used to not talking to people. But you know, my wife didn't, and she's like the one that really takes it to heart. And I'm just like, I would much rather there be open field or a hillside or a river or something. Or
if you actually went to introduce yourself to these people, they'd be like, "What the fuck is wrong with these neighbors? Why are they so weird?"
And that's what was funny was we went to when we first moved back. We moved onto the street. We got invited to a house party like 3 or 4 houses down, and they're like, "Oh yeah, sorry about your neighbors," and then went into the backstory of or like situations that people had gone through, and it was just like, "Oh, great, thanks."
Oh boy, the preemptive sorry about your neighbors.
Yeah,
that's rough. Well, yeah, I want to see pictures of this. Actually, I want to see video of this cat. I want to see it in action.
Yeah, I will send you. I'm sure Katie already has a video up somewhere, but we'll definitely get one sent your way because it's ridiculous.
Please do. All right. Well, I think we got a lot to say about these movies. Should we quit dilly-dallying and get to the body bags of it all?
Let's just ring that bell and start this battle royal.
Ding, ding, ding. Let's eat the buckle. First movie, 1993, Body Bags. This one's no box office information. It was not released as a movie in the theaters. As we kind of mentioned earlier, this was an attempt for Showtime to have a competition for Tales from the Crypt type anthology horror show, and I guess you could tell it didn't go well and it not get picked up. So this three segments that I think were supposed to be the first three uh episodes that they tried to salvage what they could of it and turned it into body bags. So I guess we'll just break it down by segment for like who directed it, who stars in it, and all that crap. So the first segment is just called The Gas Station, directed by John Carpenter, who I guess was the name of I think that was supposed to be John Carpenter's Body Bags, and then they dropped the John Carpenters. But anyway, starring Robert Carradine, Alex Datcher, Peter Jason, Molly Creek, Wes Craven, and a cameo by Sam Raimi. And David Naughton. So,
What about Stacy Keach? You gonna leave the Keach master out of this?
well, he's not in this segment.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. So I thought this started the anthology off pretty well. I liked this one. Probably my favorite of the three. I thought it had like the Halloween kind of vibes of John Carpenter. Takes place in Haddonfield, which was kind of cool to see like another side of Haddonfield. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good vibes, good creepy John Carpenterness. It's about a girl who starts her job at a gas station. It's her first day there, and it says there's an escaped killer on the loose, an axe murderer, and that's pretty much it.
To break her into her first night, she's visited by horror master director Wes Craven, who plays himself. I don't think that was a character. I think that was just him in his own wardrobe.
Yeah,
out of his own living room.
He's credited as pasty faced man. Like, John, while you're on the set of Wes Craven's new Nightmare, you want to come over and blow a couple lines and say a couple lines maybe? What did you guys think of this one?
I wrote down the note that it's basically just creepy pasta, the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It wasn't bad. I thought that it definitely had the John Carpenter look and feel.
Mm-hmm.
Which the cinematography was cool. There was a couple cool moments in it.
Yeah.
But I didn't think there was anything that necessarily stood out as awesome. Except for maybe I did like at the end how she lowers the truck onto the killer and you just see his blood spattering out from underneath. That was kind of cool. But I mean, it sets up it would have been a great setup for a good anthology to kind of ease you into it.
Yeah. I I had the note that it's her first day on the job, and within like 10 minutes before they like even show her how to use a cash register, the guy that's there with her is just like, all right, well, see ya.
Yeah. She doesn't even learn how to use the cash register. He shows her where everything's at, where the cigarette prices are, but then he's just like, all right, peace.
Yeah. I was gonna ask. It was Bobby Carradine, right? So that is David Carradine's half brother.
I'm not up on the Carradine family tree. I'd have to,
because it is a
research that.
I don't want to get in the same situation that we did with James Earl Jones's dad versus brother.
Right.
But I was like, all right, there's a lot of Carradines. It doesn't really look like David, so maybe John Carradine just slept around.
The Carradines are the Skarsgårds of the 80s and 90s.
He is John Carradine's son.
That makes sense.
Okay, so he's a half brother.
Father John Carradine. Yes.
Okay. All right.
David Carradine's half brother. Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course you have this is our George Flower week since Pops.
I was gonna say,
what was his name in this one?
What are the chances? What are the odds that we get two movies with Buck For
It's
Bro.
like Doink the Clown versus Doink the Clown.
Yeah.
I lost my mind when I saw him in this. Like, wait, what? No. Oh my God. No.
I know, I had a good laugh as well.
I mean, like, he has the best IMDb. We talked about this last time. You know, Back to the Future, this,
Yeah.
any movie in the 80s where they needed down on his luck stranger, which I guess is the nice way of putting that, because we've always been like, all right, are you unhoused now? I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't want to offend, so I want to
Well-
make sure I say what he was playing correctly. But it was just it was hilarious because I pointed right at the TV, and my wife looked at me and she's like, "Is that?" She's like, "Oh my God, yeah." I was like, "Absolutely, that's Pop."
We should go through his entire filmography because I bet he plays that same character.
We should just do a season of nothing but his movies.
I swear it was the same outfit that he has on in Back to the Future, or They
He's-
Live.
Yeah,
It
he has.
probably was.
He's been in a lot of Carpenter movies. But yeah, so this one, it just the killer obviously comes to the gas station, murders people. Turns out that the person that was quote unquote training her in the beginning is the killer, who killed Sam Raimi, and Scooby-Doo like took his uniform and pretended to be him, working at the gas station. Not a whole lot plot wise to get into on this one. I don't know. That pretty much covers it.
I
Yeah,
had
I mean,
I had
it-
2 points. One, I've never seen a full size Crackle like the one that's featured prominently.
That's
I mean-
true. You see like the Mr. Good bars.
The fun size all the time, Crackle,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah.
But a full on candy bar, regular candy bar Crackle, I don't think I've ever seen. That's definitely a California thing, I guess.
I love
And
Crackle.
then this was more like just a thriller than a horror part
Yeah.
of it, you know?
Yep.
It really was like it was basically just Halloween boiled down into about 20 minutes.
There was some really cool stuff once the killer actually shows up, and there's like the part where, so it's one of the gas stations where there's like the little kind of office building.
The kind that don't exist anymore.
Yeah. Oh, there's some up here. But like there's one part where she's stuck in the office building, the killer has like the sledgehammer and he's smashing through the window to get to her. That was really cool. I thought that was shot really well, and that's when I looked, I was like, oh yeah, this is John Carpenter, of course it's going to have some quality to it. But yeah, I mean, it was, just a short little segment and not really a ton to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody, all of the actors did a great job. It just wasn't like anything particularly standout about it. It's just a little competently directed and written creepypasta story.
Yep.
I did make a note. I love how dudes fight back in the 80s and early 90s movies. Like when Carradine and whoever, what's the killer's name?
Faux Bill. I don't know that he had a name.
when they fight and like he like leaps up and knees him in the chest, I'm like, no one fights like that except for people in these movies. It's all like axe handles to the back and knees to the chest. It's just ridiculous.
It's a little modified Star Trek fighting.
It basically was. Yeah, it was like Captain James T. Kirk's School of Combat.
Everyone fights like that when they're eating the buckle.
But I did want when are we going to talk about the wraparound segments? Do we talk about that?
Well, let's do the wraparound dump at the end, because I think there's more to talk about.
Yeah,
the wraparounds than there is some of these stories.
Yep.
Okay.
So does anyone want to do the next segment, or do you want me to keep going, or
go right ahead.
Go right ahead.
I'll be pretty brief in the next segment.
All right, second segment is called Hair, also directed by John Carpenter. This has, as Josh mentioned, Stacy Keach, who was awesome in it. David Warner, Sheena Easton, Dan Blum were the listed stars for this one. This one spoke to me as a follically challenged man. Uh, and I was thinking as I was watching, I was like, I bet John Carpenter also a bald man, balding-ish. Uh, I bet,
Wispy headed.
yeah, I bet this movie was from his soul. I feel his pain.
I wrote down a note that says can't relate.
Yeah, I can. It's Stacy Keach is a man who's balding and taking it harshly, and answers an ad for a hair growth experiment. And they do it on him, and turns out to be growing, what would you call them, like little tendrils, little like,
Alien symbiotes.
yeah, little, they
Hair
just look like
worms.
his hair. It works. His hair grows beautifully long and luscious, and he's feeling great, and the ladies love him. And but then he starts growing hair out of his face and like places where it shouldn't be, and turns out that they're aliens, and the people that did the process were aliens as well, and that was like the big twist at the end. So that's that one in a nutshell. You guys got any notes you want to talk about with that one?
There was a Greg Nicotero sighting. He's man with dog.
I was gonna say the scene where he's like walking down the street, he's just looking before he does the process, and it's
Yeah.
like you see it all. There's like 20 guys that just all look like Fabio. Like everyone in this town just like has like ass hair to their ass.
I
That
love.
was probably the only enjoyable moment of this segment.
He didn't
Yeah,
like the
he didn't like
LeBron James spray on hair.
No, I'm okay.
That
Yeah,
Sheena
there's-
Easton, it looked like she had chocolate mousse on her lips after she kissed him.
Yeah. I like that when he painted his hair. I enjoyed this one. There was a part where he's like pulling the little tendrils out and realizing that they're, you know, alive, organic, and he pulls one from his tongue. I have a recurring nightmare, where I have hair growing on my tongue and I pull it like that, and I wake up from that nightmare, and it like bothers me for like an hour the morning after I have it.
This
So
one
like
hit home.
this one really did bother me, between like the wishful desire for a luscious head of hair and the hair growing out of my tongue phobia. Like this one bothered me.
I did not like this one. Like I will admit, like as it was brought up when Stacy Keach has his head painted black. Or the scene where he's in the street looking at all the people with the beautiful lush hair. There were moments that like made me chuckle, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty funny. But overall, like, I just can't get into a horror story that's really just a fucking yuppie middle-aged man's nightmare of losing his hair. And then at the very last moment, it turns into this alien takeover story. There's nothing scary about it, and it was just I don't like clinical horror like this, where it's like a man goes to a certain place and then gets tricked into doing this, and then it becomes like that's not horror to me. And it was probably the worst out of the three segments. But it was a close it was a close call.
Yeah,
I thought it served well as like if this were to have gone on to be an anthology series, even with like Tales from the Crypt or Tales from the Dark Side, they would always throw in like a lighthearted kind of funny one, like here and there. And I think this would have served well if had it gone on, like looking back on a season being like, oh, that one that was funny was pretty good, but maybe just not sandwiched between these two as your sample size.
Yeah.
And the hair worms were probably the worst special effects I've seen since the Langoliers.
Yeah, Johnny Carpenter's never been real good with the CGI.
They had
I'm going to bring that note back as far as budgets go later on.
They had the Double Dare giant finger where they were doing the stop motion on.
Yeah, that's right.
Like when David Warner puts his hand up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like to build on Josh's point, to me, this was more like a Twilight Zone. And I even wrote down, I was like, all right, 44 minutes in, and I still haven't really seen a horror movie. Like I saw the thriller and I saw what was turning into sci-fi, like a
Yeah.
Twilight Zone
Hmm.
horror, quote unquote horror. So I was just like, I'd have thought it was going to be like a little bit more robust ghost story at some point in here, but you get
Yeah.
what you get. The worst horror on this segment was how much time you spend up close with Stacy Keach's mouth.
I know.
I mean,
Get real familiar with that mouth.
you saw his epiglottis floating around, you saw his tongue in and out of his mouth.
But you know what? Bless the man. He delivered a hell of a performance in an otherwise
Yeah.
really cheesy,
Yeah.
bad segment.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in some garbage, so but as long as the paycheck bounce, he shows up and workman like.
Very workmanlike. I forgot to mention Debbie Harry was in this as well as the nurse
Yeah.
and the Blondie. So got to give her credit for being in that.
And
Looking
there's
great.
lots of overlap too with Briscoe County Jr. Like I don't know, like I
didn't expect to go here.
I was looking up like, all right, else has this person been in? And like even the hairdresser was in Briscoe County Jr.
Oh wow.
It must
So-
have been the same casting agent or something.
I tried to find that out and I didn't struck out. But I laughed because I was like, why are there so many people that went on to be in Briscoe?
We should do a Briscoe County Jr. podcast.
Spinoff.
Yeah.
It
I'd
might
do
be
that.
one of two.
I bet we could get Bruce. He seems like he'd be pretty willing to talk about that show.
Oh, there is that also, like that part at the end where I guess the aliens have taken over Keach's brain. I wanted to ask this question. So like when David Warner walks up and basically does a suicide slice on his forearm,
mhm.
that's the only time that Stacy Keach does not do any acting. He's just looking at him like, wide-eyed.
Uh-huh.
And I'm guessing like it's just like, all right, well, he's just there. He's now a vegetable because of the aliens eating everything. Because I was like, I think you'd react to that.
That's how I took that, as like the aliens
Yeah.
had eaten his brain at that point, so he's
Okay.
literally just a husk as they crawled out of his flesh.
It just dawned on me that this is very much like the Stephen King segment in Creepshow, where he gets the meteor
Yeah.
goop all over him.
Mhm.
I didn't
Well,
even.
okay. I was going to save that point for the end, but at this point, with the wraparound segments we'll talk about later, it just felt to me like this whole thing was John Carpenter being like, hey, I can make Creepshow. I can do it, guys. Give me a budget. And
But-
it
but could he?
failed
But could
miserably.
he? Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know. I've so far 2 segments in, I was enjoying it. I do think this was maybe the lesser of the 3, but that brings us to our third segment called The Eye. This was directed by Toby Hooper, starring Mark Hamill, Twiggy, the supermodel Twiggy, John Egger, Roger Corman, Charles Napier, Eddie Velez. This is about Mark Hamill is a baseball player, and he gets a fastball, takes a fastball to the eye and has to breaks his eye. No?
Did you
What
want something
happens to him?
different than me?
What happens to him? Oh
He
no,
gets in a
shit.
car
Yeah,
wreck.
right. He gets in a car wreck.
Josh
Damn.
and I both went,
Yeah.
what? Twisted
What-
face? What?
What am I thinking of? Yeah, so he gets in a car wreck and a shard of glass goes through his eye. What the fuck am I thinking? A really cool effect. Hey, it's been a while since I watched it. And he gets there's a doctor who says he has this new treatment that he can new surgery he can do to replace the eye, which goes successfully. Turns out the eye was the eye donor, quote unquote, was a serial killer, and he starts showing signs of um, basically acting like a serial killer, and he starts going crazy, and you see through flashbacks or whatever that he's kind of following in the footsteps of what this killer did, who I think exclusively killed blonde women or something like that.
Yeah.
Was that what it was?
Mom revenge, I believe.
Yeah. And so his wife kind of resembles what this killer's victims would generally look like. So he tries to kill his wife, and I don't know. I might be missing stuff. I was kind of out of it by this point when I was
I
watching it. So.
mean, you got more out of it than I did.
This segment depends on two things. Number one, you have to buy that Mark Hamill is a professional or semi-professional baseball player. Number
But
two,
he has a redneck accent and everything.
Number two is you have to buy in to his in and out Southern accent that Mark Hamill's really trying to stick.
Yep.
But it's rough. It's not Joker. It is a somebody that works at a Cracker Barrel in New Jersey trying to be a Southern gentleman, and it comes and goes, that accent.
Yep. That's very true. I did not buy him as a baseball player. I'll tell you this much, as a third segment, this was a strikeout. You're out of here.
It definitely was. Again, I can't stand horror that just evolves around like a hospital treatment, a surgery, a clinical miracle drug. It's just not fun. It's not scary. Yeah, this was way too much like the second segment, where it's kind of like a be careful what you wish for thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was nothing fun or entertaining about it. It was just it was a slog to get through. It really didn't even make a lot of sense. And about the best thing in the whole episode or the whole story was Roger Corman.
Yeah.
Who actually did a great job.
Corman and John Agar there together.
Yeah. Well, let's take a quick break and we'll wrap up this and then get to the wraparound, and then we'll get to the next movie.
Alrighty.
Cool. See you on the flip side.
Oh, sure. Just walk out on the bald guy.
All right. So, do you anything else to say about Mark Baseball Hamill?
Was the mustache real?
I think it was. I think he grew the stash.
Yeah, he's committed.
I do want to put forth to the class. This is a mini tiny game segment.
Sure.
How old do you think Mark Hamill was when this was made, and how old do you think Twiggy was when this was made?
Oh boy. So this was 93.
Yep.
Star Wars was 77.
Hamill was probably 39.
Okay, I got 39 on the table. Price is Right rules.
Let's say 35.
Okay. And how old do you think Twiggy was?
29.
Oh, it's so bad. I don't know when she was in her heyday.
No, she was probably in early
42.
40s.
All right. So, Josh, what are you going to put down?
47.
A gentleman always says 29, but you're going to say 47.
Correct.
All right. Well, Josh is correct on Mark Hamill in terms of Price is Right rules.
Wow.
He was 41. And then you win, Jared, on Price is Right rules with Twiggy at 43.
Wow.
He's the oldest semi-pro baseball player.
And he's still batting 3 out of 4 in the home run at the end.
Yeah, and she's a high-risk pregnancy. And they're all excited, like, the future's ahead of us. And I'm like, I'm older than you now, and my body hurts. It took me 3 hours to put together an IKEA desk today. No,
I don't.
You're not going to have a child and play professional sports.
I don't think you're getting that call to the majors, especially with a bunk eye there, buddy. So
Why did we get so much gratuitous Mark Hamill ass?
I think. Oh, this is what I had the note too, and wanted to put forth. Do you think Toby Hooper hates Mark Hamill, or do you think Mark Hamill is like, don't hold back, let's really go outside everyone's comfort level with Luke Skywalker?
I think Toby Hooper is a man who pushes the boundaries of people's comfort levels,
Well,
and he knew that that would be upsetting.
it was like walking
It
into.
definitely was upsetting.
It was like walking into your parents having sex, seeing his ass on the screen, which he did take care of. I mean, he did the reverse TP.
Yeah,
He was very clean back there.
he took.
And he did, if you go frame by frame, not saying we did in our household, but if you were to slow it down, he does have the concealment nude color thong thing on.
Oh, he's.
But
he was wearing the Sam Neill?
Yeah. it was just a little rough.
He's modest.
Well, I did want to see his Hamill balls flying around. So I appreciate that they were tucked up.
Yeah, no.
I just want to know what happened in that man's career that he went from Luke Skywalker to showing his naked ass in body bags
Nothing good.
with his faux Southern accent.
Yeah, this would have been well after even Jedi.
Oh,
when was Jedi? 80.
Jedi was filmed in 83.
Oh wow.
Is that or 82?
Oh, so he was done.
Yeah. Like this was, remember when he would do like sci-fi channel stuff?
Yeah.
Like, wasn't he in the Guyver?
Yeah.
Wasn't he
With Ray Dong Chong?
Wasn't he on like a
Yes.
Sega CD game?
Yeah, he was in Wing Commander. If you can believe that. I know it was a stretch for
So
him.
this was his comeback after that?
I think he'd already started doing the voice over work, right? Or voice acting work.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta love him. And he was a great Joker.
Yeah.
That
I
just don't know what happened to that man's career there in the middle.
He's had a resurgence he's in like Mike Flanagan projects now.
That's true. He was great in Fall of the House of Usher.
He's gonna be in his next movie I saw.
So I mean, he's not a bad actor. He's proven that.
Yeah.
But the question still remains: what happened to the man's career after Star Wars?
I don't know.
I with Star Wars, because again, it's hard to take him, and I just don't. I'm sitting there watching it. I'm like, this isn't Mark Hamill, and I think that's the crux of it. Is like, this is not for Mark Hamill. You're a child going, Luke Skywalker wouldn't be like this. And that's probably why his career got derailed, was because, like, again, you got a 41-year-old playing a baseball player that's trying to break from the like AAA or double A to go to the pros. And you're just like, I don't really think this was in Mark Hamill's wheelhouse.
And let's just get it out there. Like, he's not a 41-year-old who looks like he could play younger. Like he looks all of that 41 and then some.
A Hollywood 41. Yeah.
I mean, God bless him.
Yeah.
He would have been the heartthrob in Taking of Pelham 123.
Yeah.
Because I think those guys were younger than him. I think when they made that movie. But
wow.
Yeah, I just felt bad for Hamill because I wanted to like him in this. And I mean, as an actor, like, I wanted to like the segment, but it's just so off-putting. It feels like a Roger Corman movie.
Yeah. Do you think that this show being greenlit weighed in the balance of Mark Hamill's performance?
No. I think it was dependent on the finance department going, just don't think that's going to work.
Yeah.
I will tell you what led to this not getting picked up. by Showtime.
That's my segment. Let's my segue. Let's get into
Your
it.
segue to the segments?
No, my segue to talking about what I'm pretty sure you're going to talk about.
Let's talk about these wraparounds.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's where I was going to go.
Start off
from
the
the
top
very-
with Porky Pig Chainsaw.
God, his stupid expression on the. Oh,
So John Carpenter.
I just hated the movie from second one.
Wow.
John Carpenter with that chainsaw in his hand, making like deranged grandma face at the camera.
It was so yeah, John Carpenter plays the kind of crypt keeper story presenter, storyteller. And why do they always have to be like do puns that make jokes out of like all these anthology shows that have the host and the wraparounds? Why are they always that character?
I mean, they were like that in the comics.
It's almost like they wanted to have a puppet kind of host like the Crypt Keeper, since we've already established this was trying to be Showtime's answer to Tales from the Crypt, but they didn't have the budget, so Carpenter was just like, "Well, fuck it, I can do it."
I told Erica, I was like, well, at least they didn't have to waste money on makeup for John Carpenter.
Oh my god!
And he said he spent 3 hours in the chair for that.
Doing what?
I guess
smoking Winston's.
Yeah, and also I don't know how into this wraparound do you want to get? I didn't really I took the cameos.
I just
at
like
the end, but
so first, so I'm pretty sure the only female nudity you get in the whole thing is during the wraparound segment where he's pulling the fake women's naked bodies out of the morgue and showing
There's
you
zombie
fake
boobs with Mark Hamill.
yeah.
Okay. I must have just been so disgusted by the movie by then I didn't notice, but it's like Carpenter's pulling these dead bodies out of the morgue and just like, hey, look at these tits, and it's just like, what are we watching here?
That was checking a box that Showtime asked for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said you need at least a bare minimum, no pun intended, of 2 sets of breasts.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I don't want to take anything away from Carpenter. He's obviously like given us some great movies in his career. He's a very gifted director. He's got an eye for cinematography and great shots, and acting on screen is just not his thing.
Not just
and he prances. Wait, I'm not done. He prances around the fucking set like a gin drunk aunt showing you her hoarder collection. like a dinner theater actor trying to keep the attention of the audience as they're eating their meatloaf.
That hit a little close to home.
Dude, this is his performance is probably what tanked this trilogy. It was,
and that's
despite the fact the shows weren't that good with the episodes, he was just annoying.
That's what I was gonna say. To like, clearly not a strong actor, but to cast yourself in a role like that where it would take someone with so much charisma and like personality and chops to pull off like the Crypt Keeper type role. the balls to give that to yourself
and again, I think it's hubris. Like Carpenter was just like, I can do that,
sure,
and he put himself in front of the camera and he could not do it.
Well,
but he certainly tried.
Was Tom Arnold.
Yeah,
because if John Carpenter didn't work, you're gonna
jarring.
I would have rather seen Wes Craven doing it.
Wes Craven was good. I was gonna like he did a good job, but
yeah,
Tobe Hooper, the other
Tobe
guy
Hooper was
Tom.
the other guy. Like, what a jarring juxtaposition of people to just pop up just because you could have it happen. Like Tom fucking.
I'm pretty sure it was like a cul-de-sac in Hollywood up in the hills of, hey, we're putting this thing together. Do you want to be involved? Okay, sure. What do I have to do? How much of my time is going to eat up? We need you for 15 minutes to do 2 takes.
I don't want to put slander out there, but I'm guessing a lot of cocaine was on this set.
I'm going to say, I think Tom Arnold, the reason he was in this movie is he was probably bringing the bag to the set.
Yeah.
I don't know that, but I'm going to
It's
guess.
just weird. There were so many people that were like, Carpenter usually has this stable of character actors that he puts in his movies. And like, to my recollection, Tom Arnold has never been one of them. Like all these.
No, but that was a Tobe Hooper.
But was he?
Like,
I just don't get it.
I don't get it
weird.
I don't. But mine, like, let's just stick to the Carpenter wraparound.
keep
final,
going, buddy.
Man, before the eye, when he pours that cocktail, and there's that eyeball 4 times the size of a normal eyeball floating in the drink, and he lifts it up and with so much glee points it at the camera, like, look what I found. It's just the most. Oh God, I just hated it so much.
I love when something sticks in your craw.
it really got in my craw. I just his facial expressions, his delivery, everything about it was just so terrible.
It wasn't great.
I love that stuff, like when you're a horror host and you do that, like Svengoolie. I do love me some Svengoolie, but I just didn't want it from John Carpenter. And I think that's why it doesn't work. Like, you're just like, go make a good movie. I don't want you to do this.
Yeah, I don't want your show and tell of Halloween props you got at Spirit Halloween as you stare into camera like a bad haunted house chaperone. It just didn't. It was terrible.
And now I'm even wondering, they showed Mark Hamill's dead body in the wraparound. Where was Stacy Keach's dead body to even start that?
No, you don't get anybody else. It was just Hamill at the very end.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think they did show anybody. No consistency there.
And I can't talk about it anymore. It'll just infuriate me.
I do wonder, like, the type of people that would have showed up in this, how much overlap there would have been. Like, you'd have had some George Kennedy appearances. You'd definitely have seen Dick Miller, I think.
For sure. I was gonna say I would have loved for this to have at least gone one season just to see what it would have been. Was Carpenter gonna do most directing, or what level of participation would he have had all the way through, other than just being the terrible host?
So,
I mean, honestly, like, for the first 3, there's some pretty good, like, cameos, and I mean, literally had Sam Raimi as a dead body. Like, for horror nerds, I'm not saying these are like Tales from the Crypt would get like A-list actors, but like for actual horror nerds, there was some pretty cool cameos. I wonder if they would have kept that consistent through the whole run.
I think
I just can't help the execution was just all wrong, and I can't help but think that Carpenter's lack of acting abilities and the terrible wraparound is probably what helped make the decision not to continue the show.
Yeah.
But I will say, I don't know this, but I'd almost bet that this did lay the groundwork for Showtime to come back years later with Masters of Horror. And under Mick Garris's control, and still a lot of the same people involved, Carpenter, Wes Craven, Tobe Hooper, they came out with a much better show. And they ditched, the Crypt Keeper style narration, which was probably for the best.
And oddly enough, John Carpenter probably had the best episode of that show.
He definitely had one of the best.
So he's got it in him to do this stuff. Maybe just put it in someone else's hands. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have much else to say about.
That's all I got to say about that. I'm done.
Let's put it in a body bag.
Someone get Tom on him, because this is done.
All right. Guys want to play a game?
Let's play a game.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for a game.
We're going to try Satanic Panic round 2. The rules are simple. You're each going to get a chance to guess what quote I'm playing you from a soundbite that I will play in reverse. You'll get to hear it first, and then decide whether you want to use one of your 3 lifelines, and then get to guess. If you guess wrong, the other player gets a chance to steal that point without using a lifeline. Your lifelines are: what movie is it, who said it, and a hint. So that's how we'll do it. Do you want to play the hard way or the easy way? The easy way, I will tell you how many how many movies are represented and how many quotes from those movies, or you just go in blind.
The podcast is called Eat the Buckle.
So so eat the buckle.
Hard.
All right,
Bring it, baby.
Let me share my screen. Share sound. Okay. Get to my files. All right.
I'm excited for this. This is a segment 3 weeks in the making.
So we'll do a real quick. This is just an example, and then we'll play the reverse. Then I'll play the regular, just so you'll get a taste of what it'll be like. So here's the reverse. And then I would say, would you like to guess now or use your lifeline? And then
yeah. Again, it's Max.
So, and then this is the regular.
His name is Madman Marge.
What you say?
So
What'd you say?
last week we tried to do this, and Aaron won the coin toss, so we'll stick with that. So I will play round 1, reverse. You get to hear it and then decide if you want your lifeline. Here we go.
Nou, zeker, baas, nog in de gaat maar het nest en daar heeft weer begin. Snarl en all those guys.
All right, that's Pops from cheerleader camp.
Perhaps. And so you just have to say like what he might be saying there.
Oh, he's talking about I don't remember the verbatim, but make your pecker harder than something something.
Let's find out if you're right.
Look at that one with the jugs or the one in the orange skirt. Make your pee-pee harder than a 10-pound bag of nickel jawbreakers, man.
I love that line.
That is, you don't learn that. That is not a learned line. That is just turn the camera on, turn the sound on, and you just go.
All right, Aaron, you got 1 point. Josh, here's yours. This is the reverse. Any guesses?
That just sounded like a Sam Neill scream in reverse.
Would you like to say what movie?
Event Horizon.
Let's see if you're right.
Waiting.
1-1.
That was a softball.
I wanted to give you easy ones first because it does get hard. All right, here's
Okay.
You'll each get 4. Here's your second one, Aaron.
Madman, it is Max and TP talking about win or lose. It's how you play the game.
Oops.
Name
Oh,
Oops.
yeah.
is Madman Marge.
Yes, you're correct.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's not what I heard.
You are correct. Well, I wonder how bad I fucked the rest of them up. It's not like I had 3 weeks to get this right.
That'd be great if the regular version of every clip was just Madman Mars.
Everyone. All right, Josh, here's your second one, 4th overall.
Oh, come on.
You can use a lifeline, but if you get it wrong, that gives Aaron a free lifeline.
God, I had to say what they're talking about.
Yeah, or in a roundabout way.
I don't know. I think it's Lawrence Fishburne from Event Horizon. I don't know what he's saying.
I do.
Aaron, do you want to use a lifeline, Josh? You can say who said it, what movie, or give me a hint.
I'll probably never get the quote regardless. So
You don't have to get the exact
no.
quote. You could just.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I'll take a. No, I don't want a fucking lifeline.
All right.
I mean, he did say, all right, oh, you're still looking for like what part of the movie?
Yeah, or just like, yeah. Do you want to steal, Aaron?
I mean, I will.
Oh wait, can I? I'm sorry.
Sure.
Yeah, it's still.
Is it the line where he says something about the ships from hell or going to hell?
I'll give you a partial.
Close.
I'll give you a half a point. It's
All right, let's see if he can get it then.
oh, he's gonna get it. But you could still. All right, for a full point, do you know the quote or part?
I think it's where he goes, this place is a tomb.
Scanning for life reading. This place is a tomb.
Yep, I never would have gotten that. I will give that.
I'll
point.
give you a half
The-
point.
The only reason I know that was from cutting the stingers
Yeah.
for the podcast.
We'll make an addendum to the game. If you can get without a lifeline the movie and the who said it, you get a half a point. Because it's
All right.
hard. So you get a half point, but Aaron stalled a full point, and now it's Aaron's turn for number 5. And you can hear it one more time if you want.
Yeah, give me one more listen. I am going to go out on a limb and say that's Ellie from Mad Men saying Bill's name.
Incorrect.
I wasn't confident on that one.
Josh, you can't use a lifeline because it's not your turn, but you can try to steal.
Yeah, so that my wet brain can't remember the name of the character, but it's the main character from Mad Men, and she's saying "naive."
Oh, Betsy.
All right, Josh stole. It's 3 to 2.5 so far, and here's round 6. Josh, this is your turn.
Holy shit!
You got lifelines. There's only 3 rounds left. You might as well use your lifelines.
Could I hear it again first?
Sure.
And none of these are from Body Bags.
No.
Okay. Who said it?
The Zane Train.
Oh, humans, you're not worth the flesh you were printed on.
Humans? You're not worth the flesh you're printed on. Fuck this cowboy shit. You fucking hold up, well then there, motherfuckers!
All right. It's 3. Josh is
Yeah.
up 3.5 to 3. Aaron, your turn. This is your last one for you.
Yeah, please. So not never the very.
These last ones are gonna be hard.
All right, give me one more listen.
Yep.
Yeah, please. So not never the very.
Got lifelines.
I want it. Yeah. Give me the lifeline. Might as well.
Do you want who said it, what movie, or a hint?
Who said it?
The deputy. It was a deputy with.
Oh,
Uh,
that narrows it down.
I don't know his name.
Let me hear it one more time.
Oh shit!
It's not Robert Carradine looking at your screen.
Yeah, please. So not never the very.
Damn.
Can use another light. It's your last chance. You might as well empty your
Yeah.
lifelines.
All right. What movie?
Friday the 13th, Part 6.
Okay. play it one more time, and then I'm done.
Oh, no.
Wherever the red dot goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna guess that.
So never the very
Shit.
Yeah. Well, I bet it's when he's pointing the gun at
Oh,
Tommy.
I screwed up. All right, you get a free point. You would have guessed it after saying that movie, though.
No, I actually wouldn't have.
Shit.
I thought it was the part where he's like,
Ah.
it's the screamers.
I couldn't remember the line, but when she said Friday the 13th, I knew it was where he had that stupid fucking laser dot pointed.
Damn it. And that, all right, sorry, I gave him a free point. So it's
All right.
4 to 3.5. Last one, Josh. Here you go.
One more time.
This is a toss up. This is
Sam Neill, Event Horizon.
yeah.
It's the half a point
I-
for the win. Can you guess it?
I don't. Is it Where We're Going? You Won't Need Eyes to See.
Yep.
We will need eyes.
Josh takes it. Then that
Whew.
was Satanic Panic.
I love it.
One of these weeks we'll get it down
Yeah,
like a well-oiled machine.
Yep.
But at least we could actually play it this time.
we did it! Yay!
Yay!
All right, so might as well. I made it a really long segment because I'm obviously stalling to talk about cheerleader camp second viewing.
Let's just go.
Why don't someone else jump into this? I don't have the energy.
All right. So,
To start-
synopsis of cheerleader camp. A bunch of cheerleaders show up at a camp. One of them's got some mental issues. Then the bodies start piling up, but not a whole lot of bodies, just a few. Who's the one killing everybody? Is it the cheerleader that has the issues, or something darker is going on at the camp?
Perfect. What'd you think second time around?
Go ahead.
Yeah. 1988 was a terrible year for hair. And
Specifically,
it's an 80s movie, so there's a lot of sexual misconduct.
Mhm.
Did
you?
I watched it on the TV this time, and it somehow looked better.
Oh,
Told you.
I went laptop.
Like, I had a better time since I wasn't at a desk watching it.
Mm.
Sitting on the couch was a little bit easier
I was gonna say, I
Um,
remember
on the mind.
I remember the evolution of Madman was we kind of like the second and third viewing were like, we're getting a little more into this, and then obviously it went south. Like, did you feel that with this second viewing? I mean, Josh liked the first one, so interested to hear if you soured on it or if it rose in your esteem.
I don't know that it rose as well as Madman did, because Madman you had to really dig to feel like a Bad News Bear situation where you're trying to find, I want you to do good.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy this. This is just kind of like a wet fart. Here it is.
Mhm.
Take it or leave it. Like warts and all.
Yeah,
It's
There-
I don't know.
they're not that we're comparing the two, but like Madman had a charm to it. This nothing like that. I fucking hate this movie, and I
I mean,
despised the second viewing as well.
there was something I wanted to ask. Oh, this is really getting into the weeds, which is what this is
That's what we're
for.
here by second,
And we're
viewing,
already in it on week 2.
Yeah,
In the mascot competition.
I have notes about the competition.
Okay. I really was paying attention to who won, which was like basically the San Diego Chicken.
Chicken,
won.
yeah.
Okay. But when they stunt on the other mascots for winning first, they spin and then produce an egg like magic.
I didn't notice that.
Is that like I'm facing you or I'm dropping the mic? Like what would the point of like what came first, the chicken or the egg? Is that reading enough into it, like honors English or AP English, to understand the intent? Because sometimes these movies are just so
I don't think
inept
there was intent.
that, like, am I putting intent into this?
Yes.
Or is it just, it's a chicken, we'll show an egg.
Yes.
Right, next scene.
Yep. That's it.
Okay.
Asked and answered. Moving on.
Man, this movie was definitely, this viewing was a litmus test at how alcohol can distort your view and add to the enjoyment of a picture, because I watched this the second time dead sober. And man, is it rough.
Oh, I'm actually glad to hear you say that, because after last week I was really questioning not only your sanity but just your taste, your morality, your
don't get me wrong. There were still some moments, some very brief moments of this I enjoyed. The old men in the movie crack me up. The cook is hilarious.
Yes.
The handyman is hilarious. Like their brief moments on screen, I think, are really funny. There's certain aspects of comedy in this that I still find funny, but overall it's a terrible movie. The large man is given way too much screen time.
Yes.
Tibby,
Yeah, absolutely.
He's terrible.
Specifically his ass is given way too much. I don't want to see that.
That was a giant ass.
It seemed to like get bigger somehow. It seemed like a prop that every time they cut to it, like a Spaceballs gag or something, like it just seemed to get bigger. It didn't seem humanly possible.
Speaking of the ass, that scene where Mrs. Tipton is like stuck right in front of the ass,
and it farts.
I actually, at the beginning, and they're doing that whole spiel, I kind of started to find myself thinking, like, could you buy this if there was a 4K?
Don't.
And I was like, it's only week 2. Why?
No, don't.
Am I already there? Like, I'm not.
The Stockholm syndrome hasn't set in yet. It took Madman 3 weeks for that for me, and this will not. This one will not get there for me. It does not have any of the positives, as few as they were to have for Madman. This has 0, and the thing that was bothering me, and I mean, the clarity with which we watched it is not great, but the Pam and Teresa look too much alike for any two characters in a movie to be that much screen time together. I could not tell them apart. That was bothering me. And yeah, I don't know. The whole scene with the Camp Queen competition that's the equivalent of Ellie being chased through the kitchen. It's just too fucking long. Just too long for no reason. Why would there be a beauty contest in a cheerleader camp?
It's ridiculous.
It's so dumb.
Well, they're judging each other for the competition. It's absurd.
On who's the prettiest.
Well, somewhere off screen that you never see is that judge in the orange. Who makes your
but anytime they go to determine
a
winner, it's always determined by clapping.
A PP harder. Yeah, they use the clapometer.
I still enjoy the mascot aspect. I thought the mascot competition was funny.
The only chuckle I give this movie is the scene where the mascots are trying to eat lunch. A very sensible chuckle is all this can get from me.
You don't laugh when they're all running from the community center or whatever, and the cook throws all his pots and pans in the back of his car and pulls away.
No, no, I don't.
That's an amazing gag.
I think
that is a good gag.
I think I'm just so over it by the time any of that happens that I can't find any joy from it.
I know.
It does, again, I said this last week, but it does have some good kills. Yeah, it's just
This is the kind of movie that Hollywood should be remaking. Instead of focusing on remaking movies that people actually love
Mhm.
and are still stand up to the test of time, someone needs to pull this piece of shit out of the ashes and write a sensible, good script from it and make a remake. That's
Yeah.
what a remake should be.
I mean, there's a reason why back in 1988, when anything and everything was, especially slashers like this, were getting theatrical releases, that that this was a direct to video. Like, it was bad for even back then. Like, it's just,
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. But I don't know. There's just moments I can't help but love. Although I will say on this time, at the risk of sounding chauvinistic, the only real entertainment I got out of it was the beautiful women in skimpy clothes, and the only real horror was wondering why everyone was so in love with a freaking wispy egghead with a
wispy
bird's nest of ramen noodle on his skull.
Leif Garrett.
He's like the most unattractive, most uncharismatic person to ever grace the screen, and somehow like every chick in the movie loves him.
He's Gene Ween.
Ridiculous.
He looks exactly like Gene Ween. Should we take another quick break and wrap this thing up?
Yeah.
And then figure out what we're going to be subjected to next week.
Yep.
All right, we'll be back.
All right.
Could you please stop digging? I need to talk to you.
I can't. I have to finish digging your grave.
So yeah, let's put a nice little cheerleader bow on this and get it out of here for this week.
All right.
So I guess I'll start with my final thoughts on it. Once it's like we said it last week, but the first kill doesn't come until 40 minutes into the movie or something like that.
Second like body bags, yeah.
Second one's after an hour. It's just not fun. There's nothing to like about this movie. And the characters they don't bring you along with them for that 40 minutes leading up to it, to where you're like, oh, okay, at least I can have an enjoyable time until it ramps up. Body bags, while not perfect, I did enjoy the first one quite a bit. The second segment a little less, and the third segment was a miss. And the wraparound was trash. But overall, obviously it's a better better experience than Cheerleader Camp. So for me, we're gonna be watching Cheerleader Camp.
Josh?
Boo! Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to be in total agreement. I did not like Body Bags by any stretch. It's a bad movie. I want to talk to someone out there who would say otherwise. Is there a Body Bags fan anywhere in the world? Because if so, we should bring them on this podcast as a Patreon episode or something, and argue what makes it a good film, because it's not. But Cheerleader Camp is worse, by all definitions of what make a movie good or bad. It's not a great film, even with the small chuckles that it does give me throughout the hour and a half. I will say that it didn't feel long watching it sober. It flew by, which was
boy.
great.
Oh boy.
That's
Oh,
the bad
boy.
sign. That's the bad sign.
But
Starts
I
looking
will.
for Blu-ray.
I will not. I will not be watching this film sober when we watch it again.
Oh God. Oh, I forgot to mention, I watched this at 5 a.m. the other day. I woke up and could not get back to sleep. I was like, maybe if I put Cheerleader Camp on, it'll lull me to sleep. And unfortunately it didn't. So my experience with the second time around was 5 a.m. watching this movie. Sorry, go ahead.
At least it was over by 6:30.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Cheerleader Camp is by far the worst movie and is eating the buckle, then we will be watching it again. Unless, well, I guess it doesn't matter what Aaron thinks, but go ahead and tie it up.
That's right. It doesn't matter what I think. I honestly thought this was going to be closer because I didn't have a good time with Body Bags the last time I had watched it for Halloween movie month, and I was just like, it's for what everyone has already said. We just expected more, but it doesn't make it a bad movie. That's expectations on us throwing it on Toby Hooper and John Carpenter to do better instead of just, the easiest path of least resistance for throwing something out there for Showtime. Cheerleader Camp is just rough stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Between the pixelization of watching, I don't even think it's at 480p. That's one thing, but just it is on a whole other level of dredge that Body Bags can't even hope to get that bad. It tries, but it's not there.
I will say, if we were only basing it off the wraparound segment of Body Bags, I would vote for Body Bags to be the worst movie. But luckily, the first Carpenter segment saves it and carries it off to victory.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think clearly we're all holding back some notes on Cheerleader Camp, knowing we're going to be talking about it again. So we'll get more into the juice of it, the nitty gritty of it, I guess I should say, next week. When it goes against The Gate, is the next random picture that it will go against.
I was going to say that I thought we were going to have more of a build up because this is the first new set of movies.
Hold on. It goes against, drum roll.
Pata, pata,
I'm not going to put that sound effect in. I meant verbally built up, not a special effect that I'm not going to put into the podcast.
I mean, what? Hey, it's going to be new movie time.
If this was us
popcorn ready.
This was us back in the day making movies as kids, we would have ripped off the Ed Wood soundtrack for this.
I'll find a way to make it a convoluted segment that no one wants to hear. I did want to say, actually, was 1993 when Body Bags came out, was Carpenter well in his decline? Because what
I think what was next was Escape from LA, right?
If that's the case, then that was well in his decline. Because his run of like Vampires, Children of the Damned, this.
Oh no, he went straight into In the Mouth of Madness after this.
Oh wow.
Okay. So actually, he had his bads. I mean, it was Memoirs of an Invisible Man, which is a whole,
with Sam Neill. I bet Sam Neill would have been in a Body Bags episode if it had kept going.
Probably,
because he was.
So it went. They Live, Memoirs of an Invisible Man, Body Bags, and The Mouth of Madness.
Okay.
And then after that, it went Village of the Damned, Escape from LA, Vampires, Ghosts of Mars.
Yeah, so this was it for him.
But then he came back strong and did Cigarette Burns, Masters of Horror.
I don't know. Maybe he either had too much weed or not enough weed for something was going on during that run. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I got nothing more to say on the subject.
Nope, no. I think we're good for this week.
All right, well, that's it for this week. Save some room for next week because, as always, we're gonna eat the buckle. So
later on, buckle buddies.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
No. I can't let you touch it. If I let you touch it, I'll have to let everybody else touch it.